It has been about 3 years at this point since I've last showed you guys my 4K Blu-ray collection, and since then I've acquired a ton of additional movies. And I'm going to start making this an annual video series, alright? So for this video particularly, I'm not just going to show you the 2024 4K Blu-ray pickups, just for this year. I'm going to show you all the Blu-ray pickups that I got for my 4K collection since that last collection video that I did. So the last 3 years of movie pickups that I've gotten, that's what this video is going to entail. So it's going to be a long one. I'm going to be doing this in the same format that I did my mid-generation game collection videos. So if you enjoyed that, this video is going to follow a similar format. And yeah, I hope you guys are looking forward to it, because there are over 100 movies that I'm about to show you in this video. So grab some popcorn and let's get on with it. All right, everyone. So as I said before, this is going to be a similar format to my video I did on my mid-generation game collection. So I'm going to be showing you guys my 4K Blu-rays via this method. Now, there's a lot of movies to unpack here. I have over 100, which means that I'm going to have to go through these rather quickly. So if you want my more detailed thoughts on some of these movies, just feel free to leave a comment asking me to sort of clarify or, expand upon my thoughts mentioned here, and I'll try my best to do that. You're also probably going to notice that throughout this video, there's going to be a lot of movies that I just haven't watched yet. I have a tendency to buy these films on sale, and I try to watch a movie like once a week, but life just gets in the way, and sometimes time just doesn't permit that. So anyway, without further ado, let's get started. All right, our first movie here is No Time to Die, the final Daniel Craig James Bond movie. This is the Steelbook edition in 4K Blu-ray, because I pre-ordered the film back when it came out. Now, I saw this in theaters. I thought it was an okay ending to Daniel Craig's Bond. Could have been better, in my opinion. It kind of sits in between, not being as good as like Skyfall or Casino Royale, but being, a lot better than Quantum of Solace and Spectre. So I thought it was okay, but yeah, it just could have been better, in my opinion. All right, next up we have 2001: A Space Odyssey. I have not seen this movie in any capacity, but obviously this is supposed to be one of the most influential films to ever release, and I'm really excited to watch it one day. Probably when I build my home theater setup with Dolby Atmos and all that stuff. It'll be awesome. But this is supposed to be a really good transfer, and happy to have this on 4K Blu-ray. Next up we have 300 on 4K Blu-ray. I've seen this a couple of times, but I've not seen the 4K Blu-ray version. So when I have time to sit down, I'll go ahead and enjoy it. I feel like this film, with a lot of its special effects, would look really nice in HDR especially. So yeah, we'll see what happens when I actually have time to watch this. All right, we have 47 Ronin up next. I have not seen this movie either. This is with Keanu Reeves, and I remember hearing about this movie back when it came out, but just never got around to actually watching it. So anyway, it's supposed to be a really beautiful transfer of the movie, so looking forward to actually sitting down and watching it when I have a chance. All right, we have The Accountant up next. I saw this movie in theaters back in the day, and I remember enjoying it. We're supposed to be getting a sequel fairly soon, so I'll have to find time to sit down and finally watch this movie again on 4K Blu-ray. All right, next up we have American Gangster here on 4K Blu-ray. I have not watched this film in any capacity, so looking forward to the time where I can actually sit down and enjoy this movie, on 4K Blu-ray and see what the detail and quality level is like. So when I have a chance, I'll let you guys know what I think. Next up, we have Assassin's Creed, the movie. I have heard absolutely terrible things regarding this film in terms of it not being a good Assassin's Creed movie, but people have also told me that it's actually a good movie in its own right. It just fails as sort of, I guess, video game movies go in terms of recreating that same, kind of, I guess, style and flair from the Assassin's Creed games. But anyway, when I have time to sit down, I guess I'll judge it for myself. All right, we have Bad Guys up next. I didn't see this movie, but decided to pick it up here on sale. All of these animated films just look fantastic in 4K Blu-ray and in HDR. So yeah, I guess one of those times when I'm in one of those moods, I guess I'll go ahead and watch this and see what the quality level is like. All right, we have Barbie up next. I took my mom to see this back in theaters when it came out. I thought it was an okay film. It's exactly what it needs to be. It's a comedy with heart at the end of the day, and I think part of this film's biggest issue or the biggest critique criticism I can levy from it is the fact that it doesn't really know when to kind of pick a theme of what it wants to be. Sometimes it's absolutely ridiculous. Other times it's actually kind of serious and, you know, kind of wants to tell this heartfelt storyline. But yeah, it's a beautiful film, I have to say. Like, you know, set design and all that stuff. It's very much quite a showpiece for 4K Blu-ray and that quality. All right, we have The Batman up next. Fantastic movie. I was really surprised by this because I went in with kind of low expectations, and just the cinematography, the acting, just the whole way this film looked. This is an absolute showpiece for 4K Blu-ray and HDR, and it's just a beautiful film on top of that, so I quite enjoyed it. All right, and next up I have Bella here. This is a special imported version because this film wasn't available originally in the US when it came out for 4K Blu-ray. I did see this in theaters and I very much enjoyed it. This is kind of like an anime take on like the Beauty and the Beast storyline, but done with a modern sort of spin. It's actually a really, really good movie. I want to be able to sit down one of these days and kind of watch the 4K Blu-ray because I'm sure that this film's art direction in just beautiful 4K HDR would just be fantastic. So looking forward to being able to sit down when I have a chance and watch this. Our next film here is Blade. This is a beautiful transfer of the movie, and I actually never watched this before watching this version, so this is quite fun to actually sit down and kind of see what people loved about this film. And Wesley Snipes and just the whole you know, kind of set design, the art direction and stuff, and the special effects in this movie just look fantastic in 4K HDR. Yeah, it's a fun film. Okay, we have Candyman up next. I have not seen this movie. I really don't know anything about it, but like I said, I buy a bunch of these movies when they're like $5 to $10 each. So, you know, this was probably just one of those films where it was like super cheap and I decided to pick it up. So, yeah, I know it's sort of a horror film. I think it's supposed to be really good, but honestly, I really know nothing about it. So when I have the time to sit down and watch it, I guess I'll see for myself what the experience is like. All right, next up we have Casino here. I had heard questionable things regarding the transfer of this movie on 4K, but people have also said that, you know, a similar thing was done to Goodfellas, and I watched that in 4K and quite enjoyed that version. So anyway, I'll see for myself what this movie kind of looks like, and I have not seen it actually in any, you know, capacity prior to this, so I actually am not familiar with this film, unlike Goodfellas, which you know, was a film I watched a couple of times before watching the 4K Blu-ray version. So anyway, yeah, when I get to it, I'll see what I guess the quality level is like at that time. All right, our next film up here is The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. You know, seen this many times on TV, watched it with my parents when I was a young kid, and them as well, by the way. They watched it when they were really young too. So this is just great to have on 4K Blu-ray. It's supposedly, you know, from a new transfer, I guess, of the original artwork. Based off of what I've seen, it's pretty much the best presentation of this. But, you know, it's just kind of one of those fun movies to have, especially because this is kind of questionable with Apple taking it off of television networks and it being exclusively on streaming services now. This is kind of great because now basically my family can kind of enjoy watching this at any point in time. And, you know, Halloween is coming up, so it'll be a good time to watch this again. All right, we have one of my more recent pickups. This is Civil War by Alex Garland, which came out earlier this year. I saw it in theaters, and this is going to be the final, well, supposedly the final film that Alex Garland will be directing. He's just going to be a writer now. This is the special Amazon version, which comes with this slipcover, which kind of this a 3D-like texture on it. So it's pretty cool. But Alex Garland is one of my favorite film directors of all time. I love all of his movies, and so having this completes now my my entire suite of, you know, directed Alex Garland films, excuse me. So yeah, it's a decent movie in of its own right. I'm not his best movie, but I'm gonna sorely miss his directing style. I just thought he was awesome. All right, we have Clockwork Orange up next. I have not seen this movie at all before, so you know, I'm looking forward to the day where I can kind of sit down and watch this transfer. This is supposed to be another beloved Stanley Kubrick film like The Shining, but I'm not sure people hold it in high regard as its predecessor. In any case, I'm looking forward to actually watching it and seeing for myself what the movie is like. All right, our next film here is Coco. I was actually very surprised by this movie. This is a beautiful, beautiful film, and one of the best showpieces of HDR, and especially just for this format. It's just a fantastic movie. A great storyline, just great art direction, great music, and all that stuff. Again, it was kind of a surprise hit for me, so I very much enjoyed this, and this is absolutely a showpiece for HDR in sort of animated films. Next up, we have Crazy Rich Asians. This is a really funny comedy, but also got some beautiful, beautiful, I can't really say set design because it's actually filmed on location. They went to Singapore and stuff like that for this movie, and it's just an absolutely beautiful film, especially in 4K HDR. So yeah, I very much enjoyed this movie. It's a lot of fun and just great characters and writing and acting and all that stuff. So yeah. All right, next up I have my Creed trilogy here. I have Creed 1, Creed 2, and Creed 3 on 4K Blu-ray. I've not watched any of these movies prior, so I'll be watching them for the first time on 4K Blu-ray here. In fact, Creed 1 is still sealed, but yeah, I'm gonna have to kind of sit down and watch all these films. I'm not really familiar at all with the storyline, but you know, Michael B. Jordan, Sylvester Stallone, you got incredible actors here, and I think this is somewhat related to the Rocky universe. I'm just not really too familiar on it, so yeah, I'll have to find time where I can kind of sit down and enjoy these films, you know, one by one. Next up, we have The Darkest Hour with Gary Oldman playing Winston Churchill in World War II, or I guess leading up to the events of World War II. I've heard some really fantastic things about this movie, but I have not watched it myself, so looking forward to the day where I can kind of sit down and enjoy this transfer and kind of see what this movie is about. All right, and we have The Deer Hunter up next. Very classic, well-known film that I have just not seen at all. So yeah, I have this really nice edition of the movie on 4K Blu-ray, and just looking forward to the day where I can kind of sit down and enjoy this. You know, I've heard nothing but stellar things regarding it, but I'm not familiar with it. I have not seen it at all, so gonna be able to enjoy this. Maybe when I build my home theater setup, this is one to savor for that experience. All right, next up I have Dune Part 1 and Part 2 on Steelbook. All right, I pre-ordered both of these movies prior to them coming out. You know, Denis Villeneuve is my favorite film director of all time. It wasn't the Dune movies that made him that for me, but rather his film The Arrival, when I finally became just a huge fan of his. And I went into Dune not knowing anything about this whatsoever. I never read the books. I wasn't familiar with the David Lynch, you know, version of the film, and I was just kind of blown away. But I love having these steelbooks side by side. It just looks super clean, and I cannot wait for Part 3 or Dune Messiah, whatever, you know, they're going to go with the title there. So yeah, looking forward to seeing that when it comes out. All right, we have Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. I honestly was not expecting anything from this film. I have not seen it, but when it came out, it just received incredible reviews. And so when it became available on 4K Blu-ray and on sale for super cheap, I decided to pick it up. So yeah, not watched this yet, but I want to be able to sit down one of these days and kind of enjoy it and see what all the fuss is about. You know, Chris Pine's always fun to watch on screen, so hopefully it's a really fun action flick. Okay, and we have Live, Die, Repeat, Edge of Tomorrow, or just Edge of Tomorrow before they actually added this kind of subtitle. I saw this in theaters back when it was brand new, and I haven't actually watched this version of the film or any version of the film since its release on, you know, Blu-ray and disc. So I just remember loving this film back in theaters. I was really blown away. It was incredible, and I can't wait to the day where I can sit down and actually rewatch this again, because I kind of forgot a lot about the details and the action. It's been so long, so it's going to be cool to kind of watch this movie for the first time, and this is one I'm definitely going to want to save for my Dolby Atmos setup that I'm kind of building. Okay, we have Elvis up next. Heard some good things about this film. You know, Austin Butler's just fantastic, and Tom Hanks as well. You know, not seen this movie at all, so again, looking forward to the time where I can kind of sit down and kind of enjoy the music and the set design and all that stuff. Okay, we have a Bruce Lee film, Enter the Dragon. Not seen this at all. I think this is another one that I kind of picked up on sale when it became available, but you know, gotta have some Bruce Lee in here. It's quite you know, necessary whenever you have a film collection, and not sure how this particular film of his has fared. So when I have time to sit down and kind of watch this for the first time and kind of see what it's like, I'll let you guys know what I think eventually then. Okay, here's another film I've heard absolutely fantastic things about. This is Everything Everywhere All at Once. Everyone just keeps raving about this film. This is a special, cover I think I got from, I forgot it was Walmart or Amazon, one of these retailers. I have not seen this movie. In fact, this movie wasn't even on my radar until it started getting extremely incredible reviews, and everyone just says it's fantastic. And Michelle Yeoh, I just absolutely love whenever she's on screen. She's just incredible. So I'm looking forward to sitting down and watching this in this quality when I have a chance. Okay, and we have Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore. I have the prior two also on 4K Blu-ray, but I think at the time of showing my collection, I didn't own this one, or this one wasn't out. This is a terrible ending to what was just a lackluster film series. The Fantastic Beasts movies just never really got off their feet and could never, even come close to any of the Harry Potter movies that came out. So this was just kind of really just a terrible ending, and to be honest, I'm quite embarrassed I even sat down to spend time to watch these movies. Perhaps they're really beautiful when it comes to special effects, but that's about all the praise I can give it. Okay, we got some Fast and Furious movies. I have F9, the Fast Saga, as well as Fast X, or Fast 10, whatever you want to call it. Seen Fast and Furious 9 and just didn't care for it, man. This film I'm not really a big fan of. It just got too ridiculous for me, and I just, I found it hard to actually watch this film. I have not seen Fast 10 yet. I hope it kind of corrects some of the issues I had with this movie. But it seems to me like this is supposed to be the last film, and what I'm hearing now is that this may not be the last film, or I guess the next film will not be the last film. They're thinking about making even more. So I don't know, it just it's absolutely ridiculous. And I enjoyed the Fast and Furious movies prior. It wasn't like, I was completely new to this franchise or anything like that, but it's just gotten so far past believability that it becomes hard for me to enjoy. But anyway, I do have these movies on 4K Blu-ray. All right, so we have The Fifth Element up next. I have not seen this, but it seems that everybody holds this film in high regard, and it's just beloved. So I'm looking forward to actually sitting down and seeing what this movie is like. Bruce Willis there. You have Mila Jovovich, which I love, and I think it's Gary Oldman as well. Yeah, just absolutely insane with all these actors, and it looks absolutely ridiculous, but I want to see what the film is like when I have a chance to actually sit down and watch it, so we'll see then. Okay, we have Ford versus Ferrari up next. I saw this in theaters with my good friend Dean over at his channel Vinny Corleone 62 many years ago, and this is just a great movie, but haven't watched it actually since then. So having it now on 4K Blu-ray, being able to sit down and rewatch this and seeing what the quality is like on my setup and stuff, I just can't wait for that. So it's a great film, and just really enjoyed seeing it in theaters. All right, our next film here is Free Guy. Again, another film that was just not on my radar, but I just heard fantastic things about. It's kind of similar. It's like a video game movie, but kind of similar, I guess, to kind of Ready Player One. However, it's supposed to be a take on the Grand Theft Auto universe. Not really sure. I haven't watched the movie at all yet, so I guess when I have a chance to sit down, I'll see what the film is like, but this should be quite a looker in 4K Blu-ray with all its special effects. Next up, we have Full Metal Jacket, another Kubrick film that I have not watched at all. Yeah, that's a kind of a running theme here. There's a lot of these famous films that I have just not watched, in any capacity whatsoever, so apologize for that, but happy to have these on 4K Blu-ray because, again, it's just a film that's quite famous that I've heard great things about. I love the cover art for this one as well. It's just really, really cool. So yeah, when I have time to sit down and watch it, I guess I'll let you guys know what I think. All right, next up we have Ghost in the Shell, the anime, not the actual live action film. I do have the live action film with Scarlett Johansson also on 4K Blu-ray. I showed that off in my last video, but picked up the anime. People have said this is another one that's quite beloved that people just really reference a lot, and I haven't watched it myself, so looking forward to kind of getting down. I did enjoy the Scarlett Johansson movie for what it was, but definitely could have been better in that respect. Okay, and we have Ghostbusters Afterlife up next. Quite surprised, this is actually a sequel that is actually good. It's a good modern Ghostbusters sequel, and yeah, I quite enjoyed watching this movie. The characters, the writing, just the way everything looked with the set design and stuff, it just looked fantastic. I was quite honestly surprised by this. And its sequel, unfortunately, is supposed to be quite terrible, but I haven't watched that. But did enjoy this movie, and I thought it was a really nice transfer on 4K Blu-ray. All right, next up here, we got a beautiful collection of all of the Godfather films on 4K Blu-ray in these collectible steelbook cases. I have not seen any of these movies. Yes, I'm ashamed and embarrassed to say that. But I do have these beautiful steelbook collector editions of the films on 4K, and just the artwork and the way this looks side by side is just absolutely beautiful. So I can't wait to the day where I actually sit down and kind of enjoy these movies. You know, this is gonna be quite interesting. I want to get in the mood for that, and probably wait until I complete my home theater setup to actually finally experience this trilogy. Okay, next up we have Gareth Edwards' Godzilla from 2014. This is an awesome film that really kind of, you know, was really the first, I should say, really good modern Godzilla film, at least from the West side, I should clarify. But Gareth Edwards is also one of my favorite directors. I absolutely love his movies, and he doesn't make a lot of movies, but all of his movies are just quite fun. So this is a really nice version of the movie on 4K Blu-ray, and I'm just happy to own this because I remember seeing it in theaters and kind of being blown away, and yeah, it's a great version of the film to have. All right, our next film here is The Goonies. Really solid version of the movie on 4K Blu-ray. It just looks fantastic. The HDR, the detail and special effects and all that stuff. Quite happy with the way that this film looked, and it was fun watching it again on a 4K Blu-ray and HDR. All right, next up we have Gran Turismo. I was honestly quite surprised because I was very pessimistic about this film. I didn't quite understand what they were doing. And after the Uncharted movie and it just not being a good Uncharted movie, I was kind of, you know, feeling lackluster about Sony making a Gran Turismo film, but they did a good job with this movie. It's a lot better. It's a lot better at being a video game movie than the Uncharted movie was, and just the acting, the storyline, just everything about it was really fun and enjoyable. I had a great time watching this, and yeah, just really happy to. I'm really happy for Sony that they made a good video game movie, and hopefully that you know, goes well for the future. All right, we have The Green Mile up next. Very famous, well-known film that I have not seen. So yeah, I have it here on 4K Blu-ray. Again, must have picked it up when it was super cheap, but it's well known. So yeah, looking forward to the day I can just kind of sit down and experience this film for the first time, I guess. Hopefully it's a really solid transfer, so yeah. And yet another movie I have not seen yet, but everyone knows very well. This is Heat from Michael Mann. We're supposed to be getting a sequel to this film in the next year or two. I think he's actually working on it right now. So I've not seen this, but people love this movie. It's got all the great actors in it, and yeah, I'm just looking forward to, I guess, watching it, because I've seen some clips of it, but I try to stay away from clips because I don't want to be spoiled and stuff. But man, I'm just like mesmerized every single time I see this movie in action. So can't wait to watch it on 4K Blu-ray when I have a chance. All right, and we have The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. This is the sequel to the last movie, The Hitman's Bodyguard, which I enjoy. You know, this is a fun movie, just one of those comedies with some kind of interesting, fun action, and you kind of just watch it, enjoy it for what it is, and then move on. So I think the sequel is probably just as good, if not slightly better, than the last film. I did enjoy it, and the banter and stuff like that. So yeah, it is what it is. All right, next up we have Nope from Jordan Peele. I absolutely love his movies, and I have not seen this one. Saw Us, saw Get Out. I own those as well on 4K Blu-ray, but have not watched Nope. And I'm a huge fan of just aliens and the kind of, you know, conspiracy theories surrounding that. So I'm gonna, you know, can't wait to kind of watch this and sit down and just kind of enjoy it for what it is and see how his sort of creepy style kind of mixes with all of that. I think that's pretty cool. All right, we have The Northman up next, another movie I've heard very good things about. I have not seen it myself, but it's supposed to be like just incredible the way this movie was shot, the way it looks visually and all that stuff. So I'm quite looking forward to sitting down and seeing what all the fuss is about with this movie, and yeah, can't wait. Our next film here is Oblivion with Tom Cruise and Morgan Freeman. I saw this in theaters. I remember really enjoying the movie back when it came out. However, on closer inspection, because I watched it again, I thought there were some things that were kind of missing. So I don't know, it's been a long time since I watched the film, so being able to enjoy it now on 4K Blu-ray, I'll see what the film is like then, and I think this is also one of the first releases for 4K Blu-ray back when the format came out. So yeah, it's sort of a film that's been available for a little while now. All right, next up we have the extremely valuable version of Oppenheimer on 4K Blu-ray in this beautiful steelbook packaging. This was a pre-order exclusive from Best Buy before they got rid of their movies. And man, this is just, I love this movie. It was, in fact, it was the most recent memory of mine that I could remember. It's right up there with one of the best cinematic experiences because I got to watch it in 70mm IMAX over at Universal Studios on opening weekend. Yeah, it was just awesome. This is a beautiful version of the movie as well, you know, and Nolan puts a lot of effort into his disc releases. So just happy to have this, and you know, especially this version of the film. It's just awesome. All right, and we're gonna follow it up with infamously one of the worst 4K Blu-ray transfers ever known. This is Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. I had bought this film prior to me knowing anything about it and anything about its transfer. This is supposedly, I mean, when people talk about the top 5 worst 4K Blu-ray transfers, this is undoubtedly in there. This is supposed to be like basically a negligent upgrade compared to the Blu-ray. Lots of issues. I don't know. I've not seen this movie at all. I got it when it was super cheap. It probably was super cheap because no one really likes this version of the film, but you know, I own it here, so I guess one of those days I'll sit down and watch it. But yeah, I just thought that's crazy that yeah, this is supposedly such a bad release that it's kind of canceled almost at this point. Okay, we have Dawn of the Planet of the Apes here. I have Rise as well as War also on 4K Blu-ray, but at the time of making my video, I guess I never owned Dawn for whatever reason, but I own it now. So I watched Kingdom earlier this year in theaters, excuse me, and quite enjoyed it for what it was, and looking forward to when that goes on sale so I can also pick it up on 4K Blu-ray. This is undoubtedly the best of the original trilogy, or I guess the reboot trilogy as we'll call it for Planet of the Apes. This film with its incredible cinematography, its CGI and all that stuff is just an impressive looking film on 4K Blu-ray. So quite enjoyed watching these again prior to watching Kingdom in theaters. All right, we have Man of Steel up next. I enjoyed this Superman movie and Henry Cavill and stuff. It's not a terrific film. It kind of loses sight of, you know, really kind of the themes it was holding towards the very end. But I really did enjoy watching Henry Cavill on screen and just this style of Superman. So yeah. I thought it was quite a fun film. Okay, we have Lost Boys up next. I have seen this movie before, but many years ago where I really don't remember. I have not watched this transfer of the movie at all. So yeah, looking forward to kind of sitting down and seeing what the film, I guess watching and seeing what the film is like on 4K Blu-ray. But yeah, I remember liking it, but I just don't remember really anything about it. So perhaps it'll be good to kind of refresh my memory watching this again in 4K. Okay, we have Looper up next. This is a really interesting film, very creative, you know, kind of fun, and I remember seeing it in theaters, and I think I don't remember seeing the movie since I saw it in theaters. It's kind of hard for me to remember, but yeah, I have the 4K Blu-ray here, so kind of looking forward to sitting down and watching it again when I have a chance. All right, we have Lightyear up next. I heard some questionable things about the movie itself, but supposedly this is a very beautiful film. And I think I picked it up for like $5 or something like that. It was like super cheap. So I've not watched this myself. You know, I thought it was kind of weird that they were doing a you know, Buzz Lightyear movie, but you know, these days they're kind of taking all these characters that were just kind of fun or in the background, and everyone now gets their own storyline. Which, you know, I'm not really totally on board with. But anyway, if it's a beautiful film, then I'll at least enjoy it for the visual spectacle. All right, we have The Last Duel up next. Again, another film that I have not watched. I heard some good things about it as well. So looking forward to the day where I can kind of sit down and see what this film is like. You got a ton of great actors in here. So yeah, we'll see what it's like when I kind of sit down and watch it. All right, we have an M. Night Shyamalan film next. This is Knock at the Cabin. I remember when this came out on theaters, and then it quickly came out for 4K Blu-ray, and then it quickly became on sale. So I'm not too familiar with the movie and how well it did. I think people enjoyed it, but yeah, I just have not watched it at all yet. So I guess one of these days I'll sit down and kind of see for myself what this film is like. All right, we have some Jurassic Park movies up next. We have Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, which is terrible movie, Jurassic World Dominion, which I have not watched, and then the original Jurassic Park. I do have Jurassic World, just the fourth movie, on 4K Blu-ray as well, so I have the complete trilogy of the new films, but I only own the original Jurassic Park here of the initial movies. So, I wasn't a big fan of Jurassic Park 2. I like 3 more than 2, but the first one is still absolutely undefeatable. And then, Fallen Kingdom was just a terrible, terrible sequel. My God, I found it hard to actually finish this. I was so bored. I've heard, the funny thing about Dominion, I have not watched this yet, but I have heard of all the 4K Blu-ray movies, this is the most beautiful. When people talk about the 5 best looking 4K Blu-ray movies, apparently Jurassic World Dominion is up there. So even if it's a terrible movie, at least for the visual spectacle, it should be just impeccable in terms of quality and how that goes, but I guess I'll see for myself when I have a chance to watch them. All right, and we have John Wick Chapter 4 up next. This is the special Amazon edition, which you had to get by pre-ordering the movie before it came out. It comes with this beautiful kind of slip cover, with this kind of Asian-inspired art design. I absolutely love it. This is just a great ending to the John Wick character. I thought they did a great job with all of these movies, and Keanu Reeves just continues to bring his best. And we have Ballerina coming up next year, I believe, which is with Ana de Armas in sort of this same universe. So I hope that also works out pretty well. And yeah, just very much enjoyed these movies and just love this version of Chapter 4. Okay, we have Jaws up next. Everyone knows Jaws, except me. I have not watched this movie. I'm also embarrassed to say, yeah, I don't know how one goes through their entire life up to 30 years without watching Jaws, but apparently I have. So I have the initial film here on 4K Blu-ray. I don't know if the other sequels are even worth watching or even worth getting, but I have the original film here, which is just beloved. So I guess I'll find out for myself what this film is like when I have a chance. Okay, we have The Invisible Man up next. Man, this movie really surprised me. I love this movie. It's creepy, it's refreshing, it's interesting. They did a great job, and this is supposedly a remake of, I guess, Hollow Man, I believe, is the original film. But man, they did a great job with this film. It just is fantastic. The acting and just the whole twist surrounding it. I was just like sitting there with my mouth open. This is a great movie. Highly recommend it on 4K Blu-ray as well. It just looks incredible, and very much enjoyed watching this. Okay, we have Inglourious Basterds up next, a beloved Tarantino film that I have not watched yet. I have seen a couple clips of this movie online, and I'm always just mesmerized by what's happening on screen. But I know very little about it, so I'm not spoiled or anything like that, but looking forward to the day when I get to sit down and finally watch this movie, especially with this new 4K Blu-ray transfer. It should look fantastic. All right, we have Inception up next. I very much enjoyed this Nolan film. It's just really creative and very interesting, and Nolan loves to play with time and all that stuff. I often make comparisons between Christopher Nolan and video game developer Remedy. They seem like, they're very kind of cut from the same cloth there, but this is a beautiful version of the film. It just looks fantastic, and yeah, I quite enjoy watching this, especially for the music and just the special effects and stuff on 4K Blu-ray. All right, and we have my most recent addition to my 4K Blu-ray collection. This is Incendies, which is an earlier film by Denis Villeneuve, the director of Dune and Blade Runner 2049, most recently. This is a film that he did in 2010, and this is a special 4K Blu-ray edition. In fact, it's numbered. I don't know if you guys can see that, but this is version number 38. And I actually had to import this from Europe because it's not sold here in the States. But, this is the limited release, I guess, of the movie on 4K Blu-ray. It might become very valuable over time. So if you're interested in watching or collecting, I guess, some of his earlier films, I didn't even realize this existed until like literally a couple months ago. Check out Incendies here, just Google search it. I think I ordered this from Zavvi.com. But yeah, I'm just happy to own this and kind of watch this because I also heard it's one of his better or more interesting, I guess, films. People said this is really awesome. So yeah, we'll see what it's like when I have a chance to watch it. Okay, we have another import here. This is Alex Garland's Men, which did not receive a 4K Blu-ray release in the United States. It did in Europe. In fact, this is an Italian version of the movie. I have not seen this at all. I have heard that out of all of his films, this one is the most divisive. Seems some people enjoy this movie, and there's some people who think it's like the worst thing ever. So I don't know, man. Again, I love Alex Garland and just his style of how he directs things. So I'm kind of looking forward to kind of sitting down and watching this, especially on this transfer, this version of the movie on 4K Blu-ray. It should be quite fun. So yeah, I guess I'll let you guys know what I think when I have a chance to do that. All right, our next film here is Midway. This is another kind of famous film that a lot of people know about, but I have not watched yet, so can't really comment too much about it. But I picked it up when it was on sale, so I guess when I have a chance to watch it, I'll let you guys know what I think. All right, and now we got a bunch of movies here. I have Mission Impossible 1, Mission Impossible 2, 3, 4, and 5 here on 4K Blu-ray. Now I do have Fallout as well on 4K Blu-ray. I showed that off in my last video, but since then all these other films became available on 4K Blu-ray, and I decided to pick them up. I think I got them for like $7 or $8 each, so they were like kind of super cheap. I have not watched Mission Impossible 1 and 2, but I've seen all the other ones, and this is just one of those franchises where it seems to me that every single iteration gets better and better with its release. And you know, Dead Reckoning, which I saw in theaters, part 1, I very much enjoyed. It seems that they're taking their time with part 2, but now I'm hearing that they also now apparently it's not going to be a part 1 part 2 anymore. They're changing it up again. So anyway, yeah, I very much enjoy watching these movies. You know, just Tom Cruise doing what he does best, and looking forward to kind of sitting down and watching some of their earlier films for the first time, and rewatching these films as well to see how they look on 4K Blu-ray. All right, we have The Mummy up next, a very early Brendan Fraser film that everyone loves, and I have not watched at all. So yeah, this is another one that pretty much everyone in the world has watched except me, it seems, but kind of looking forward to the day where I can sit down and watch this, and hopefully this is a good transfer of the movie as well on 4K Blu-ray. All right, we have Vacation up next, National Lampoon's Vacation. I have not seen this movie, but I saw Christmas Vacation, which I absolutely love. That also is available on 4K Blu-ray, but I do not own it on that format. So anyway, yeah, I guess I'll see for myself what this is like. You know, if it's nearly as funny as Christmas Vacation, then I'm probably gonna have a great time. But yeah, I guess I'll let you guys know what I think when I watch it. All right, next up I have some additional Matrix films here. We have Matrix Reloaded, Revolutions, and Matrix Resurrections. All right, I do own the first Matrix as well on 4K Blu-ray. I showed that off in my previous video, but now I have the rest, I guess, of the franchise. Although I know what people are going to say about this one. It's not, people like to just ignore this one. I love Reloaded, despite everyone in the world thinking these movies absolutely ruined the first film. I absolutely love Reloaded. I think it has some of the most insane and best action in the franchise. Revolutions to me was all talking until the very end. I was very bored watching this movie. And then Resurrections I saw in theater, and I could enjoy it for what it is. Like, on reflection, this is a good movie, but not a good Matrix movie. It fails as a Matrix movie, but if you judge it on its own as just a movie, I don't think it's absolutely terrible. But anyway, I got this Steelbook as well because you know, I was all excited, like, oh, the Matrix and all that stuff. But anyway, yeah, it's a questionable, you know, release, I guess. This supposedly is a beautiful transfer of the movie, though. In fact, all these movies look fantastic on 4K Blu-ray, including the first one. It's quite a showpiece. All right, we have Nobody up next. Quite enjoyed this movie, and this is from the same writer as John Wick. You can definitely tell with sort of its style and flair. But this is just a fun movie. It's just really cool, and what's his name? Bob Odenkirk. That's his name. Just does a fantastic job playing the character, just being himself. Really, we're supposed to be getting a sequel to this as well in the next, I think, year or two. So looking forward to seeing what that is like, and hopefully they do a great job. All right, and we have The Hunt for Red October. I saw this film so many years ago that I don't even remember it, but I own it now on 4K Blu-ray, so looking forward to watching it, I guess rewatching it, but it'll be like for me watching it for the first time again, because again, I just barely remember the film at all. but probably because I was super young. But anyway, so looking forward to watching this again on 4K Blu-ray. Hopefully the transfer is really solid here. Just love Sean Connery, and Alec Baldwin looks so young as well. So yeah, we'll see what this is like. All right, I got another questionable release that I have in my collection here. This is True Lies from James Cameron. Again, a lot of people hate this version of the film because James Cameron went in here and basically kind of edge enhanced a lot of the details and then got rid of a lot of the film grain, which kind of smoothed over textures in the film. So supposedly this is a terrible, terrible transfer that people just don't like, but James Cameron kind of argues against people. I just like James Cameron is kind of similar to me as like Ridley Scott, where like I really love their movies, but as soon as they start talking, I'm just like, why do you got to be such an asshole, man? Like just say thank you, or just like I don't know why these people like to get in spats with the public. I don't know, man. Anyway, I've not watched this movie at all. I know that a lot of you are kind of going to be kind of cringing that probably my first experience watching this movie will be this transfer of it. But in any case, I saw the side-by-side comparisons. To me, it's like things I can live without because the increased detail is still the increased detail. And having Dolby Atmos and HDR and all that stuff. But I guess I'll see if it's a big issue when I have a chance to watch it. All right, we have a Steelbook case here for Training Day. Love Denzel Washington. He does just an incredible job here in this movie, and this is a beautiful looking version of it on 4K Blu-ray. They changed some of the color grading as well, so it's a bit cooler in tone, kind of more comparable to probably the movie when it came out in theaters. But I watched it for the first time with this version of the film on 4K Blu-ray here, and very much enjoyed it. Denzel's just one of my favorite actors. He does an incredible job in whatever he plays. All right, we have the original Total Recall here. I've seen this movie many times. It's fantastic. Love it to death. I've not watched this transfer of the movie yet, so hopefully it's another really solid film, and yeah, very much looking forward to kind of sitting down and rewatching this in 4K HDR detail. All right, and now I have the Top Gun series. I have Top Gun as well as Maverick here on 4K Blu-ray. Everyone loves these movies, but I have not watched any of them. Yeah, even when Maverick came out, I just remember seeing people like say it was like the best movie ever, and I never got a chance to watch it in theaters, unfortunately, and I never saw the original Top Gun. So I'm gonna wait until I build my full Dolby Atmos setup here to watch these movies, because this is going to be one I'm going to want to pump up the sound for and really invest myself, with a beautiful big screen as well as Dolby Atmos sound. It's going to be fantastic. Okay, we have John Carpenter's The Thing. Not seen this at all. I actually own the video game on Xbox, and supposedly they're remastering it as well for the new consoles, as far as the game goes. But I've not seen the original movie. Again, it's another film that's quite famous that everyone loves, and it's one of the more famous horror experiences. So looking forward to actually watching it when I have a chance to seeing what kind of all the fuss is about here. All right, we have the Super Mario Brothers movie up next. This is, I think, the most successful animated film of all time. It actually beat out Frozen and other kind of animated films and took the top spot. And it's funny because when this film came out, I remember the critics absolutely hammered this movie. It's supposedly, like, I don't know why the critics didn't enjoy it, but I don't know. I haven't seen the movie myself. This supposedly is a beautiful version of the movie on 4K Blu-ray, so looking forward to, I guess, watching it, especially with all the colors. It should look fantastic in HDR. All right, we have Star Trek Beyond here. This is the final movie in the Star Trek recent films with Chris Pine. I really hope they do another one, man, because this was kind of a lackluster end for I enjoyed this movie, but it just wasn't like Into Darkness, and it wasn't like the first film. So I hope that they really do a good job with the fourth upcoming movie. It seems like they're trying to start it, but everything just, there's always an obstacle. There's always something that stops them from actually making that movie, and now Chris Pine's like much older, so hopefully it comes out sooner rather than later. All right, we have A Star Is Born up next. I really enjoyed watching this in theaters. I was quite surprised. I thought the music was fantastic, the acting, cinematography, and all that stuff. This is supposedly an excellent transfer of the movie on 4K Blu-ray, but I have not watched this version of the film yet, so looking forward to sitting down and seeing what the movie looks like and sounds like, probably when I build my home theater setup. All right, we have some more Spider-Man films. So in my last video, I showed you guys a lot of my other Spider-Man films, but I have since got a couple more. So we have No Way Home, the end to the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies, and then we have the Steelbook case here for Across the Spider-Verse. I really enjoyed No Way Home. I thought it was a good ending to Tom Holland's Spider-Man movies, but supposedly they're doing more, I guess. So we'll see what that is like. And then Across the Spider-Verse, man, this is a reference quality film on 4K Blu-ray. I was quite blown away. Supposedly the sequel's been delayed. We were supposed to get, I thought we were supposed to get it this year, and then it got delayed to next year, but I'm hearing now it's additionally delayed. I don't know, man, but this is an incredible movie. All of them are just fantastic, and they look great on 4K Blu-ray as well. Okay, we have Speed up next. Seen this movie many times, and Keanu Reeves, Sandra Bullock are just awesome together. I also hope that they transfer The Lake House eventually, because I just love seeing these two on screen. They have great chemistry. But Speed is a fantastic movie. I've not watched this transfer of the movie yet, so I'm not sure how this looks on 4K Blu-ray and HDR, but looking forward to the day where I kind of sit down and finally get to do that. Okay, we have Sisu up next, another movie that kind of came out that got a lot of reviews, great reviews, and I have not actually seen yet. So I own this on 4K Blu-ray here, got it when it was on sale, and people have said this is an incredible action film, but again, I've just not watched it yet, so looking forward to actually sitting down and getting a chance to do this eventually. Okay, we have the original Shrek up next. This movie became available super cheap, so I went ahead and picked it up. I want to get the other movies as well. I think I read somewhere they're making more. I don't know, man. Like, they keep like resurrecting these franchises, and it's like, but you ended the storyline. Just let it end. Anyway, I have not seen the 4K Blu-ray transfer yet, so looking forward to actually getting a chance to watch it when I do, and I'll probably pick up Shrek 2 and 3 later down the road. All right, Shutter Island. Man, this film kind of blew me away because I didn't get to see it prior to watching this version of the movie, and I was watching it not knowing anything about it. And man, it just blew me away. This is an incredible, incredible film. It looks great on 4K Blu-ray as well. And just the twist, the twist at the end, just you're like losing your mind. It's like insane. So I very much enjoyed this movie and the way this transfer looked. I just thought it was fantastic. All right, another Kubrick film. We have The Shining. This one I have seen, but however, prior to watching this version of the film, I never actually saw it previously. So my first introduction to The Shining was literally the 4K Blu-ray release here. And man, not only does this film look incredible in 4K, but it's just like the way they did HDR, it's just fantastic. That blood scene in the hallway, it's just like, you've never seen the detail that good. With these older films, especially because they're all shot on standard film, it just comes across so well with the 4K transfer. But yeah, this is a great version of the movie, and very much enjoyed it, and just had a great time watching it. All right, we have The Secret Life of Pets here. I have the sequel, which I think I showed off in my prior video, but I didn't. I have since, picked up the original here, and I very much enjoyed this first one more than I enjoyed the sequel. I just thought this was a better movie overall, but I have not watched the transfer version of the film yet, so looking forward to actually sitting down and having a chance when I do. Next up, we have Schindler's List. This is another famously well-known film that's supposedly extremely hard to watch. I have not seen this movie at all. I've just heard fantastic things regarding it, so looking forward to actually sitting down and watching it. Apparently this is a great transfer of the movie on 4K Blu-ray. All right, we have Scott Pilgrim versus the World. This is supposedly another great showpiece for 4K Blu-ray and HDR, especially with all this film special effects. I saw this back in theaters when it was new, but actually haven't seen the movie since then. So kind of looking forward to sitting down and seeing what the transfer is like when I have a chance, and this should be quite a showpiece in HDR. All right, we have Scarface now. I have not seen this movie at all. This is another one of those famous films that I have just not seen. So yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to watching this. This is supposedly an excellent transfer of the movie. It looks phenomenal, and yeah, I guess I'll finally see why everyone loves the movie so much when I have a chance to sit down and watch it. And continuing with our trend of great movies that I've just not watched yet, this is Reservoir Dogs, another famous film that yeah, I have yet to experience, but I have the 4K Blu-ray here. Looking forward to watching it when I have a chance and just seeing what the film is like. All right, we have Red Sparrow up next. This is a okay movie. I watched this movie for the first time with this transfer, and I love Jennifer Lawrence. She's always fantastic in her roles, and she does a great job here. The movie kind of left something to be desired. It's visually very competent, like it looks really good, but you know, I just feel like the storyline and kind of what they were going for, like it's kind of fun to watch, but it's also forgettable in that regard. So I enjoyed it for what it was. It was okay. All right, I have one Kurosawa film on 4K Blu-ray. This is Ran, which I believe is his last film that he ever made. This is a special kind of 4K steelbook. It's absolutely beautiful with this packaging. This film is kind of a, I often compare it to a kind of a Shakespearean kind of, you know, tragedy. It kind of plays out like that. It's a very like well-made film, and just the pacing of it and stuff, it's kind of slow, but it's really interesting, and just the way it's shot and all that stuff. I thought it was a really beautiful film. It looks incredible in 4K Blu-ray. So I just hope, I'm not sure if they transferred his other earlier films, but I'll have to look into that, and eventually I do want to pick those up and watch those as well. All right, we have First Blood here, which is the original Rambo movie. It looks incredible in 4K Blu-ray. I actually never saw the film prior to watching this transfer of it. I thought it was good. I didn't think it was great. I have heard from everyone that this is just an incredible film and you're gonna love it, and I didn't love it absolutely. You know, it's very much a tragedy. It's kind of in the modern spotlight, like a younger audience like myself. There are a lot of things that I just kind of didn't fully understand, or I think could even appreciate when it came to this movie. But you know, I enjoyed it for what it was. I probably won't pick up the other Rambo films, but you know, this is just a beautiful version of the film. It just looks incredible in 4K Blu-ray. All right, I have my Quiet Place films up here. So we have A Quiet Place as well as Part 2 on 4K Blu-ray. I have not seen the newer film as well. Day One, I believe it's called, but I heard that's also worth picking up. I think it's available on 4K Blu-ray. I think it is, but I'm not quite sure. Anyway, the first film to me is just King. It's just a really well-made movie, and just the acting and the concept, it's really interesting. Part 2 is like more of the same, but without the intrigue, since you already know what the enemy is like and you already know the rules. It follows the same beats, but just it doesn't feel as impactful because you already saw it before. But anyway, these look fantastic in 4K Blu-ray. They're absolutely reference quality films. They just look good, and I guess I'll pick up Day One when I have a chance and see what that film is like. All right, we have The Protege up next. This is just a fun kind of action flick. Maggie Q and Michael Keaton, as well as Samuel Jackson, just do fantastic in their roles. Oh, my artwork here is kind of misaligned. Anyway, I enjoyed this movie for what it was. It's kind of one of those kind of B action movies where you watch it, it's fun for what it is, but it's not something memorable or impactful. But yeah, it at least looks really good, and it's a good, you know, version of the film to have on 4K Blu-ray here. All right, I have The Poltergeist up next. I have not seen this movie. Well, it's still sealed here, but I have not watched this movie prior at all. And this is another one of those kind of famous releases that everyone says is just absolutely nightmare inducing. So when I have a chance to watch it, I guess I'll let you guys know what I think. All right, and we have a 4K Blu-ray here of Point Break, another famous film that I have not watched yet. Yeah, anyway, I'm looking forward to actually sitting down and seeing this, because this is supposedly an excellent version of the film, and it's just one of the most beloved kind of action films out there. Or I guess not really action, but you know, it's just supposedly excellent in that regard. So I'm kind of looking forward to actually seeing what the film is like. I love the cover art. This just looks incredible, man. Absolutely fantastic. But yeah, I guess I'll let you guys know what I think when I actually get a chance to see it, and yeah, we'll go on from there. All right, guys, we're winding down to the last few movies here. We have The Wolf of Wall Street. I love this movie. I saw it in theaters. I saw it many times since then. Have not watched the 4K Blu-ray transfer, but this should be a fantastic movie with the way it looks. You know, HDR should just fly off the charts with this one. So looking forward to watching it when I have a chance. All right, now we have another import here. This is Weathering With You, and this is a Japanese, anime and also Japanese version of it on 4K Blu-ray. Initially, it did not come to the States with a 4K release, which is why I imported it here. This is just an incredibly beautiful film. The same, I forgot the director's name, but he's done a couple of these. And I think his most recent film is Suzume, which I'm also waiting for an American 4K release of. So yeah, just beautiful, incredible films. In terms of anime, it's some of the most beautifully drawn animation I've just ever seen in my life. It's incredible, but this looks amazing on 4K Blu-ray. All right, we have Whiplash up next. I have not seen this movie. It's won a ton of awards and it's absolutely beloved. But again, I have not watched it yet, but I have the 4K transfer here of the movie on 4K Blu-ray here. So I'll, when I have a chance to kind of sit down and watch it, probably with my Dolby Atmos setup, it'll be quite enjoyable, I hope, with all the music and stuff. All right, our next film here is The Warrior, or I guess just Warrior. I saw this in theater back when it came out and very much enjoyed it. But anyway, I have not watched this transfer of the movie yet. This is the special steelbook version with this kind of slipcover. It looks really cool. Yeah, I guess it'll be fun to kind of sit down and watch this film because I remember some parts of it, but not remember it completely. So should be fun to kind of watch this transfer of the movie. All right, next up we have War Dogs here, another movie I saw in theaters and I have not seen since. This is again one of the earlier 4K Blu-ray re-releases, or I guess releases. But this is supposedly a beautiful transfer of the movie, and I very much enjoyed this back when it came out. Jonah Hill just does incredible here. He's really, really funny. So anyway, I really enjoyed the movie, and looking forward to watching this movie, I guess, again on the 4K Blu-ray transfer. All right, we have the Uncharted movie up next. Now, as I said earlier in this video, this is a fun movie, but it's just not a good Uncharted movie. Yeah, Tom Holland, whenever he's on screen, I don't see Nathan Drake, I just see Tom Holland. And Mark Wahlberg to me is not Sully, he's just Mark Wahlberg. So they're fun in their own right, but the film just could have been a lot better in my opinion. It's definitely not anywhere near as fun or as just crazy as the games. And yeah, I kind of understand where they're going for with this. I guess we should be getting a sequel because this film was highly successful and sold a lot. But yeah, I just thought it was an okay movie. All right, we have another M. Night Shyamalan film. This is Unbreakable, which is the prequel to films like Split, as well as was it Dr. I forgot his last movie. I've actually not watched this, but I've seen Split and I've seen the sequel after that, Glass. That's it. That's what I remember. Anyway, yeah, I've not seen this yet. This is a film that a lot of people really loved back in the day, so hopefully this is a really solid transfer and it just looks fantastic. So I guess I'll let you guys know what I think when I watch it. And our final 4K Blu-ray here, man, that was a lot. This is The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, the best Nicolas Cage movie to come out since, like, maybe National Treasure, a very long time. Yeah, this is just an incredibly funny film. It has a lot of heart. It's just interesting, and just the acting and all that stuff. It's just great. And Nicolas Cage plays himself. You have Pedro Pascal here playing this kind of drug lord, and the two of them go on this crazy adventure, and it's a great film. It's just really, really funny. So yeah, this is a beautiful film, especially on 4K Blu-ray, because everything's just shot in this beautiful exotic location. It looks incredible. So yeah, awesome. right, thank you guys very much for watching this video. That was a ton of movies. Just to let you know, the current collection number is at 258 4K Blu-rays. Yeah, and there are 3 movies I didn't get a chance to show you in that last video because I just acquired them literally days before rendering out this video. So I got Wanted on 4K Blu-ray, Equalizer 3, as well as The Raid Redemption. All of these were on sale thanks to the Amazon Prime deals as well as Walmart. I got Raid Redemption from Walmart for like 10 bucks. It's awesome. So anyway, yeah, thank you guys very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed that, and I guess I'll see you next year for the 2025 4K Blu-ray pickups and collection update. All right, have a good one, guys, and thank you so much.